Hello everybody, this is Travis. Been away for a while and it's my fault, sort of. I came down with COVID finally and had to be quarantined for a couple weeks. And so I was not really at the computer for quite a while. So apologies, couldn't be helped. Anyway, the latest deck I tried turned out to be a small deck because it's called 3 or less. The hero is Gavany Dawnguard from Innistrad Midnight Hunt. It's 3/3 with Ward 1. And you have the regular day-night formula here. That should be common to everybody who's played with the day-night werewolves by now. So whenever day becomes night or night becomes day, you get to look at the top 4 cards of your library. You can reveal a creature card with mana value 3 or less from among them and put it into your hand, and the rest on the bottom of your library in any order. So if we get to start switching back and forth, and maybe I should have a Celestis in here, but I don't yet. I haven't tried that out yet, but I might. This is a work in progress. It's a pretty new deck. But anyway, this is a way to refill your hand with creatures in case you have trouble with that. We've got one Welcoming Vampire. When creatures with power 2 or less enter the battlefield, you get to draw a card. That only happens once per turn, but that's a flyer for you. We've got Restoration of Viganjo, which on your second stage you can discard a card, and when you do, return a target permanent card with mana value 2 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped. So that could be a creature or a land. We've got 3 copies of Patch Up, so you can return 3 target cards. Got to be creature cards. Total mana value 3 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. Let's see, what else we got? We got an Inspiring Overseer. Imperial Recovery Unit. When it attacks, return target creature or vehicle card with mana value 2 or less from your graveyard to your hand. So all of these guys can be valid targets to come back. We've got 2 copies of Extraction Specialist. When they enter the battlefield, you return mana value 2 or less from the graveyard to the battlefield. That creature can't attack or block for as long as you control Extraction Specialist. So you've got a 3/2 lifelinker that you don't mind trading off soon to get more use out of the creature that you just brought back. What we're actually looking to use for the most, if we can, is this one, Intrepid Adversary. This one's a 3/1 lifelinker. When it enters the battlefield, if you got extra mana, you can pay it any number of times. And you put that many Valor counters on Intrepid Adversary, and all creatures get +1/+1, including Intrepid Adversary. So ideally, this comes out earlier because it's cheaper mana. You use it for as long as you can. It gets killed. Then you bring out an Extraction Specialist, bring back the Adversary when it's later in the game and you have more mana to pump everybody up. And either they have to deal with your pumped up creatures or they kill Extraction Specialist, and Intrepid Adversary is free to start attacking. So that's the idea behind that. We've got 4 removals there, 4 borrowed times. I think that's necessary. We've got 4 Bereaved Survivors. When it transforms after another creature you control dies, whenever Dauntless Avenger attacks, you return target creature card with mana value 2 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped and attacking. So again, that gets all of these that might be in the graveyard back. So these are the ones we don't mind that die really quick, right? We've got the 1-drop Lunarch Veteran. We've got 3 ambitious farmer hands, which we can use to get our lands out and transform into a 3/3 lifelinker if we have the Coven mechanic satisfied, which is 3 or more creatures with different powers. A couple more removals, 2 Fateful Absences, and 4 Fierce Retributions to destroy target attacking creatures. If the game lasts long enough and you got 6, then you don't care if they attack or not, you just destroy them outright. And 1 Spirited Companion. So we don't mind even throwing these guys into kamikaze attacks and killing them just to pile up our graveyard if we know we've got some of these things ready to come up so that we can bring them back when they might not be expected. In the meantime, if things go horribly wrong, we've got 1 board wipe with Farewell. And that's it. It's pretty simple. It's kind of quick. Let's check out, hey, not the sideboard. Here. This is what happens when I'm away from the computer for a couple weeks. Okay, average 2.7 mana value, so not too bad. So we're going to go straight into the battles. Let's see what we can do here. And we'll just do standard play to start with. I switched from standard play to ranked play and immediately came up against something I hadn't faced all night while I was playtesting the deck in the first place. I had 3 matches in a row that were all against mono black. So I thought that was cute. I didn't know if that's just the way the meta is for ranked battles right this second, or if it was because I chose mono white for my deck choice. But I thought that was mildly amusing. Alright, if you want to help Tpull's Corner, go ahead and subscribe. That helps. Also helps when you click the like button. We really just need 3 mana to get things going for the most part. We don't have a ton of 1 or 2 drops, but we usually get one in the opening hand. And already combat research. They've got the perfect hand for what they're trying to do. We'll just have to muddle through. Alright, you think they have a counterspell ready? No? Let's get rid of that card draw advantage while we can. They're just filling up their hand, aren't they? Alright, so they know we have that. Let's put down the Dawn Guard while we can, while they're tapped out. They might bounce it, but they'll have to spend the ward cost, which makes it a little bit better going up against blue. The more you can drain their mana, the less they have on hand for counterspells later. And if they're going to be reactionary and rely on the counterspells, then we get a quick flip to nighttime, which gives us an extra look at the top 4 cards of our deck as well. Although really, we could just use more land. Mirrorhole Mimic. Interesting. Alright, what do we want to do? We want more land. So we'll go get some more land. And we can play our land. And then we'll go get more land. How about that? And that's fine. If they want to go without casting any spells, we'll let them. Gross. They kept enough to pay. They had no problems getting land out, did they? Alright, we're going to do it. If we're not getting the advantage of the ability, we're not going to leave them to get the advantage of the ability. Okay, kill you now, yes. And let's go get another land. And 1 measly point. Does he want to use the Mimic? He's had a pretty full hand this entire time. Always makes you nervous when blue has untapped land and they always have a full hand. Chooses to draw a card. That's usually what they do with this Aether Channeler character. And they tap out again. Okay. We'll throw a plains down there because we don't need the land. We can just get this back and get another land. So we actually got a creature up out of that. Let's go ahead and put down another Dawn Guard and another recovery unit. Our only recovery unit. And we're done. Another sludge monster. Disgusting. Conveniently, right when I had my Dawn Guard. And he loses that ability. Okay, we have 3 different abilities, so we can activate here. If I can click right, we can activate both of these farmhands. And it doesn't make any sense to wait for anything because the sludge monster is just going to get rid of other abilities next turn. So we'll do a little kamikaze attack. Trying to hope that he plays this enchantment out and then I can get rid of enchantments with the farewell, but that loses my borrowed time too and puts the network disruptor back into play, which isn't the greatest. He's going to let 6 points of damage on through, which gives us some breathing space. Ideally, he'd attack with the sludge monster, probably use it on this, and then maybe put the Mere Hollow Mimic on one of the other creatures, maybe one of his. Don't copy the artifact. Thank you. What are you afraid of attacking for? Does he know I'm holding farewell? He can't. He hasn't gotten a look at my hand. Very strange, very strange. What do we want to do? I guess we just want to attack again? I'm trying not to exile my creatures. I want them in the graveyard, so I want him to kill them. So then I can cast the farewell. We finally got some blocks. Okay, is that enough? Let's see if he has any counterspells. We'll get rid of creatures only. He hasn't had a counterspell yet. Alright, so we lost one. He lost all of that. That finally gives us a 2-drop, and we can use Extraction Specialist. And this is a problem when you're playing blue control, or playing against blue control, is they take a long time to figure out what they're going to do. And you just got to wait for it. Tapped out again, which was fine for him. Alright. He knew we had this, so no sense hanging on to it. We've got plenty of land. Actually, with all of our ramping and bringing lands out, he's had no problems keeping up with us the whole time. We bring out our Extraction Specialist. There's only one choice to come out, and we'll go get another Plains for that. And then we crew with the newly arrived one and go hit him for 3. And it's 30 to 10 right now, which means nothing because he's got 9 mana in a full hand. And there's a whole breaker horror. My goodness. That's against my little weenie deck. I'm not sure what we can do against that. He did tap out. We'd have to get lucky with a top deck. We'd have to get like a Faithful Absence. Oh wait, he just threw the Borrowed Time back up? Oh, that's a mistake. Unless you have some other way to do stuff. So we discard that. Bring it back tapped. So we can put down 2 planes at once. If you're tapped out, I can just get rid of the whole Breaker Horror, can't I? Boom. Yeah. Yeah, think? He has a second one. That is just messed up. They're not even legendary. There ought to be a law against having 2 of them in a row. What do you want to throw up then? I need to top deck something now. 2 Hull Break Horrors, one after the other. That's just... Why are you gonna do that? It's gonna counter the spell. Oh, that is not fair. All that land that I dragged out and I'm just gonna... Disgusting. Okay, so he doesn't stop that. Yeah, so I'm at his mercy. Whatever he wants to do. Out of all the removals that I have, and I've only gotten 1, 2, 3 so far. Bringing it back, so now he can double it for all the other stuff. He's just got all these cheap ones all of a sudden too. He's got the perfect stuff to go. And things were looking so good too. Look at that, he's down to 7. Things were looking so nice for a second. I don't have a second farewell. I need a second removal so that I can take care of 2 at once. Yeah, it needs to be this round too. He tapped out, so I need removal. And they gave me a creature. There is just nothing you can do after that. We're getting out of here. 2 in a row. That's disgusting. I don't even think I have 2. I think I only have 1 of those right now. Alright, let's try again. Let's try and see if we place anything other than blue control. Next we'll face mono green and we'll come up against Ava with her hexproof. I can't remember the last time I came up against 2 hull breakers, one right after the other. Maybe I need a second copy of Farewell at this point. Hey, there's some black finally. Blood tokens. Okay. Let's go fill up on our land now. The good thing about this is with the Ambitious Farmhand and with Iganjo, we have a nice couple of ways of pulling up planes, so we don't usually end up stuck for any mana generation, even though we're down to 23 lands. Yeah, you saw I have the land. You can take the land. Nobody cares about the lands. I don't need to worry about chump blocking just yet, or throwing away the farmhand. If I can keep it and transform it, might as well. You don't usually want to have 2 patch-ups this early on. This is for later in the game when you've already filled up your graveyard a little. So that's the one drawback, is I went from 4 of these when playtesting down to 3, and I'm still getting this a lot, where I get these 2 really early on. I don't mind having 1 in my hand for a little while, but when I already have a long, big farewell, this is the most expensive card in my deck, and of course they already gave that to me. There was no way I could cast it this early, so that's going to be a dead card in my hand for a while. Let's not do anything. We won't cast a spell, we'll just go get another creature. See how that works? That's from the Dawn Guard's ability. And that'll give us 2 power so that we can channel and transform the Ambitious Farmhand. Yeah, we'll jump block for that. It's fine. Are you happy? Take 3 points of damage, sucker. So this is going to be the artifact deck. You can go away. Sure. Let's do it here, this way. We'll bring... Hello. That is so not cool. Here, we'll cast 2 spells and flip back to day. Now we can do farewell if we need to. And we're not going to attack. Oh, we were already on day because they did double spells. Never mind. Never mind. Do you want to sacrifice anything? You do! That's fine. You know why? Because we've had enough of you guys. Exile all creatures, exile all artifacts. You look like you're outnumbering me for a second, so let's fix that, shall we? Oh, look at that. Oh, look at that. You can't tap to sacrifice him yet. Patch up. Let's see, 3, right? We can only get 1. Let's go ahead and do this and go get another land next turn. Well, this turn rather. Just keep thinning out our deck, hopefully increasing the odds that we don't flood out. They have a lot of extra cards in their deck. I wonder what they've got. Not afraid of you. And look at that. We're gonna end up flooding out or something again, aren't we? Do I want to use patch up now? Yeah. Bring this one back. Because that way we can power up the recovery unit now. Is there anything left in our gray? Oh, good. We still have one ambitious farmhand too, so we can attack and bring the other farmhand back with the recovery unit. And we don't want to chump block anything now because we actually want to transform the farmhand. Yeah, come on through. That's fine. Because now the real threat is the Imperial Recovery Unit, which they should double block. So they're doing it wrong. So we'll lose one of those, and by doing so we get to transform the other two, and we get another land out with Ambitious Farmhand. And this is kind of a nice little battle, a little bit better for us than coming up against two Hullbreaker Horrors in a row, one turn after the other. This is getting a chance to show off the synergy of the deck with the way these cards are interacting well. Because we're just going to bring back the Ambitious Farmhand. They can do this every turn they want to. We will just chump block. Flood out with land. And now they each get to bring somebody back. 1 and a 2. And that means we get to thin out our deck, and hopefully at some point reduce the chance of drawing additional lands all the time. They didn't block at all. What's wrong with you? You're quitting, that's what's wrong. Alright, that's how that works. And you see, we end up with enough lands. I'm actually tinkering around the idea of trying to find one more useful card to put in and go down to 22 lands, but that could be pressing it. So we'll try. We'll go one more round and see if we have any luck here. That's what I like to see. We got our 2 lands. I'm playing just one color for a change. Mostly I play 2, 3, 4, 5 colors, so I don't have a lot of monocolor decks. But we got our 2-drop, which gets us thinning out our deck already. And they do not have a counterspell ready. No Hullbreaker, only one Hullbreaker Horror, okay? Only one. Ninjutsu crap. Great. What do we want to do with that? You know what? Let's do this now. Well, not to look a gift horse in the mouth, but they're tapped out and we have removal. So we almost have to do that, don't we? Because if they run dry on creatures, they're dead in 2 turns. Okay, they do have somebody finally. Really? What do I want to do? Alright. We'll do that. We'll also do this. Get a life, draw a card, and it's a land. Attack with Gavany. Down to 7. They didn't have they weren't able to pay the ward cost. That's why they wanted to throw Dawn Guard up, but they didn't have enough time. And we're done. Couldn't get through. Didn't like the odds. Woohoo! All right. We'll take that there. We will have the deck list in the text below. We'll show you a quick look at the deck one more time. And I'm usually not into the weenie decks, so to speak, but I like concept decks. So here I liked the idea of getting all the cards that you're dealing with mana value 2 or mana value 3 or less. I played quite a few cards, quite a few games where we ended up losing Intrepid Adversary early on because the enemy is always so scared of that card, and then bringing back with Extraction Specialist. And especially if we had, you know, 4 or 6 mana to pump it up and put 2 or 3 counters on the other creatures. So we didn't get to show that in this particular routing, but just keep in mind that's one of the big combos of it. And we actually didn't have a lot of the removal cards come up. Well, we didn't have a single Fierce Retribution come up at all this time, did we? But you know, that can happen. Anyway, this is Travis from Tpull's Corner. I'm back. I don't know how often I'll be posting, but I'm through the COVID sickness and recovering nicely. It was mostly just like a big sinus drain for me and a sinus headache for about 3 or 4 days. And thankfully, I've had the vaccine and the booster, and the family took good care of me and stuff like that. So I'm happy and thankful and feeling more blessed than ever. And missed putting out videos for you guys. So here's one for you, and I'll try and get back into the swing of things and post more often when I get a chance. Thanks, guys. Have a good one.